If you want to know everything about the new head-up display design and the possibilities of the new multifunctional displays, then you are in the right place. Because in this guide we will cover all the innovations of the head-up display rework and all the possibilities you have with the new MFD functions. Because with the Alpha 3.24.2 there was not only optical changes but also some interesting functions. These include, among other things, different quality of life improvements and, of course, current optics. For example, we can now assign significantly more different weapon groups, up to 4. In addition, target informations about holographic content in the upper corners will be displayed, which are especially useful in combat. But one after the other, because we have more than just the chic optics. And in addition to the new functions, the different chip manufacturers also have their different optics. Here we are, for example, with Anvil, so in a rather greenish design. And the most obvious innovation? As soon as we wear a compatible helmet, we get a holographic additional display directly projected into our helmet. Here, for example, in the upper left corner for our own ship status and in the upper right corner, select the targets. If we do not have a corresponding helmet, these displays will not be displayed. And don't worry, almost every helmet suitable for space is currently also compatible with the holo view. Another improvement is the slightly tidier middle area, where we only get basic information without any additional gimmicks. This means a height display, our flight direction, as well as a very subtle degree indication in which direction we are looking. This increases the overview and we are not overloaded with various HUD symbols, especially in the middle area. And with an atmosphere, degree indications automatically appear, whether we are leaning or lowering. In the lower left area, the complete flight data has been moved and it's now much tidier and more compact. For example, we have information about VTOL, landing gear and G-Safe, as well as the current selected mode. And also small interesting details such as a suitable indication of our ship's HUD, whether our wings are on or off, we can find here again. We also find information about the currently selected flight mode, in this case the SCM, so the Space Combat Mode. The keyboard layout for the change is still the same and also the intermediate modes, so in Space Combat Mode the selection of rockets and the scanner mode. And depending on a selected mode, the HUD display also changes accordingly. And finally, we find the complete speed display also compact in the lower left corner, so the informations about the forward thrust or backward thrust direction and the information about the speed. In the lower right area, we also find information about our current booster performance, the coupled mode, target lock and ESP. In our opinion, this is a significantly successful revision of the HUD system, as we have much more overview in the middle area and will not be overloaded with different displays and so. And depending on the manufacturer, the display of the current map of the environment, so our scanner area, is slightly different. But let's get to the heart of it, namely the configurable MFDs, which offer much more than just pure information displays, but various panels, which we can even switch through directly and activate it here. Also, in addition, we find a tooltip display for almost all areas, so as soon as you go over a certain value with the mouse, you get the tooltip displayed. In our opinion, the energy distribution is a bit unfortunate, as we have a horizontal further scroll panel here and there is still a need for optimization. Nevertheless, the switch from the power triangle to a point allocation, as we know from other games, is the right way. This allows us to make much more detailed and clear energy distributions for much more areas, so not just weapons, drives and shields. In addition, we save ourselves individual components to switch on and off. Another significant improvement is the ability to define different fire groups, so a total of 4 now. Here we have the first row, the first fire group 1, the second row 2, 3 and 4. And via the simple point allocation we can select which weapons are active or which fire group. And to finally select them, it is enough to simply activate the mouse wheel in Space Combat. And so we switch directly between the different fire groups that we have previously defined ourselves, and this in no time. Intuitive, simple and effective. And of course, we find the possibility of assigning a hotkey for all settings, each MFD and each option. And also in the weapon area, we have an additional display in the upper left corner of the HUD in which weapon mode we are currently in, what the current ammunition level is and which weapon are active. Also, we get the short display when switching a fire group directly in the middle field of view. And of course, this functionality also applies to the precision mode stored on the right mouse button as standard, in which we can switch. Here too, we can switch to the different weapon groups by turning the mouse wheel. And this mode is especially useful against larger targets and precision shots, especially since we can zoom in much closer to our target here. Because the zoom is automatic and dynamic depending on the target and the distance. Further predefined MFD functions are, for example, the shield display, where this plays a more subordinate role, as we can not only view the shields via the HUD but also via other configuration settings. Here, the self-status monitor is recommended. And one of the most important innovations is the Configuration tab. Here we have the possibility to switch on and off various ship functions in depth, such as the MFD cast option, so the display of our additional informations into a helmet display, so our Bluetooth connection, so to speak. But we have now explained various settings that we otherwise had to search under the various key bindings in the depth of the in-game menu directly in the Configuration tab. For example, we can also deactivate and activate functions, whereby the required additional functions are automatically deactivated or activated. Another significant improvement, especially since some functions do not have to be displayed permanently and we do not have to search for a button for so long. And of course again, the note that you can still put every single function on a hotkey, if you want this. The Configuration tab is again divided into a general mode, which is mainly associated with the flight properties, and the gunner section, which deals with the combat functions. Here we find various pip settings and of course the staggered fire mode and so on, such as the precision lines. So everything you need for a decent space combat. By the Communication tabs, we finally have the option of reaching selected targets of the landing service. And another significant improvement is the Scanner tab. Here we can also put this separately on an MFD, whereby we get all the relevant data displayed directly in this MFD and not overloaded directly in the middle of our screen as before. Here, scanning makes really sense. And the overall scanning process has also experienced an improvement and now works much more reliably. And at this point, it turns out that ships with more MFDs have a significant advantage directly in the field of view. For example, with the F7A, we have a good combat equipment, but very few options, since only 2 MFDs are possible. Here, ships that have more MFDs have advantages, as we can display much more basic informations here, such as our target status, our own status, our energy distribution, or the weapons directly. But the basic information about our target and our own status remains in the HUD corner as soon as we wear a suitable helmet. Because with that, we basically have 2 MFDs for each ship as a bonus. Because with the target status and our own status, we have the most important areas that are relevant to us permanently in the field of view, regardless of which ship we fly with what equipment, and of course, regardless in which direction we look. And for the first version of the HUD and MFD system overhaul, the improvements in quality of life are clearly noticeable. But let's take a look at the different ways to assign keys directly. So, work with hotkeys. Here we find new tabs under the key bindings and in advanced key bindings, such as the MFDs. And beware, here you'll still be struck with a variety of options and possibilities, a feast for every pilot who really wants to put everything on the perfect key. So, take your time. And at this point a note that you can find any hotkey bindings for joysticks and HOTAS systems for 324.2 actual at our Discord to download. Here we link one of the best, from Buskiller. So, regardless of which you use, HOTAS, HOSAS or a normal setup with only one joystick, you find everything you need. Feel free to visit us in the Discord. But what do you think of the new MFDs and HUD functions and how the 324.2 is running for you? Let us know here in the comments, in the Discord, or on our daily Twitch live streams, or via social media. So, I say goodbye until next time, see you soon and see you in the verse. Thanks for watching.